movies. Greg Kinnear, the new House of Cards cast member, along with Diane Lane, and the final season of House of Cards. But he's been in so many other movies. As Good as It Gets, you got Mail, Little Miss Sunshine. You were nominated, As Good as It Gets, Best Supporting Actor. Is that right?
I won.
Oh, you won?
No, I didn't, but I was nominated.
Oh, well, that would have been, I mean, I would have bought. What would you, did you have a speech? Did you ever give the speech?
I didn't.
Okay. Do you want to give the speech now if you would want? And hold on here. Here we go. I'll act like
Yeah,
it.
let's just get that over with.
All right, let's get it over with.
Thanks.
And the winner is? Greg Kinnear. Greg Kinnear.
Thank you. Thanks. Great to be here. Honored to be nominated and to finally pull it home. Thank you.
Who beat you?
Robin Williams for Good Will Hunting.
Oh.
So I had no issues with that. He was unbelievable, and it was a great group. It was like Anthony Hopkins, Burt Reynolds was in the category for good Boogie Nights.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a fun night. Took my parents.
What is that moment like when they've announced everybody, and there's that little pause, and there's a camera on you, and then what do you think?
Yeah, the guy comes down, and he basically takes a knee right here with the camera. So you're like, you try to act like you don't see it, but it's literally, you can feel the heat from the lens pointing at you. And you just, I don't know. Fortunately, Best Supporting Actor happens very quickly. So in fact, it's the first thing. So the show started, I finally was there, and I would say about 48 seconds after Billy Crystal had done his opening, it was over, I had lost. And
then you got to sit there the entire time.
And you got to sit there the entire time, but it was a good show, and it was a thorough pleasure to be there. It was incredible.
But Nicholson was up for best actor.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And he unlike me, I see where you're going with this. He actually he did win the Oscar.
I think I'm skewing negative, and I don't mean to. I'm better than that.
He did win, as did Helen, and we got the movie did really well. It's a great film and still pops up every now and then out there in the.
Okay, but was that your first big break with movies?
I had done a year or two before. I'd done Sabrina, which was Sidney Pollack had cast me in Sabrina off of Talk Soup. That's a brave man. I did that film. That was really the first big movie that I had ever done.
Okay, what do they see? Because Talk Soup, you did something that was unique. You were taking clips from TV shows and you were having fun.
Yeah.
And so what do you think they saw or did Nicholson want you, or how does that work where you get this role in this big movie?
Well, in Sabrina, I think Sidney was from a very small town in Indiana, smaller than the town I was from originally. I'm from Logansport, and he was from I think Lafayette, and he had seen me on the television and said, "Who is this guy?" He had auditioned everybody in the planet for the role. And he just was like, when he found out I was from, I think down the road, he was just curious to meet me, and that kind of led to an audition and got me the job. As Good as It Gets was just Jim Brooks, is an incredible director and writer and talent, and he had a wonderful project that he sent to me, and I went in, and again, I did go to Jack's house and have to read with him, which was terrifying. But
wait, so you go to Nicholson's house on Mulholland?
That's right.
Yeah. You walk in, you see all that great artwork there.
Yeah, it's slightly terrifying. You try to act like you're not nervous to be there. I mean, you try to act like being at Jack's house is a run-of-the-mill kind of.
Is that the only other time you've been? Have you been there since?
No. Oh yes, I have been back
good,
a couple of times.
Good.
Yeah, I've been back. I've been invited back. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We've gone to a couple games together, and for a while we actually played a lot of golf. Jack and I did.
Well, you're good. Jack's not good. Right?
I just say, yeah. I don't want to. Can I not take the fifth on that?
No,
the way you set it up.
You can nod like I'm trying to be positive with you now.
I don't think he was not particularly good, but I'm not particularly good either. I mean, he's an amateur. He was an amateur golfer. I don't think he's playing much anymore.
Do you still belong to Bel Air?
Yes. Yes.
Do you see Al Michaels there?
I do see Al.
Yeah.
Yes, I play with Al on a semi-regular basis. Depends how the season's going, where he is, where I am. But it's always famous
person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson?
person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson?
Most famous person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson? Most famous person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson? Most famous person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson? Most famous person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson? Most famous person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson? Most famous person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson? Most famous person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson? Most famous person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson? Most famous person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson? Most famous person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson? Most famous person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson? Most famous person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson? Most famous person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson? Most famous person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson? Most famous person you play golf with, aside from Nicholson? Most famous
It was Nicholson, man.
Okay, I didn't know if you'd played with Tiger.
Other than the Pope, who else could you identify?
I'm just like a president of you.
I've never played with Tiger, never played with a president. Almost played with Clinton one time, but that didn't pan out. No, I
because you didn't win the Academy Award.
Probably that.
Had you
Probably that.
When you see the script for Little Miss Sunshine,
Yeah.
because it's such a sneaky great movie.
Yes.
And Alan Arkin's brilliant in there, and I mean just the whole cast.
Yeah.
And so when you see that movie, like, what are you thinking? That here's Grandpa teaching, your daughter basically striptease to win a talent show.
Yeah. I actually read that script.
And you have daughters.
I do. I have 3 daughters. I read the script and I thought it was good. John and Val, Jonathan Dayton, Valerie Ferris, the directors, and they had this girl, Abigail Breslin, who they wanted to play as Olive, and they were desperately trying to make this movie because she kept getting older. And so it took them a couple of years. So she went from like 7 to 9, and then finally, I think one of the producers just wrote the check to make the film. But I read the script the first time. A friend of mine's a producer, sent it to me, and I thought, yeah, this is good. This is good. Is it happening? But I didn't fall out of my chair. I really didn't. It's a testament to my lack of good insights, because I really missed it the first time I read it. And then once it became a reality and it looked like it was coalescing, I took a look at it obviously again, and I was like, this is so good. It's so rich. Every character is great. Every moment is great. And in fact, I saw Paul Dano at the Tonight Show last night. We were kind of rehashing our Little Miss Sunshine rehearsal stories, because we spent like a week together where we had that little yellow bus, and we all would drive around, the cast, all of us. Alan, everyone's in the back, everybody, and we just buzz around Los Angeles, and I don't know, we went bowling one afternoon, we'd do silly actor things, but it was
great.
Really cool.
Yeah, a lot of fun. We were also curious about, you played Dick Vermeil.
Yeah.
But were you around Dick? What research do you do when you're portraying Dick Vermeil?
I went up to, he was in his last year at Kansas City, right? And I went up to his training camp. I think, was it Appleton, Wisconsin? Would that be right? What is it?
That sounds right. I think that's where they used to practice.
Yeah. And,
or was that the Packers? We'll check.
Yeah.
We're just making stuff up here.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
continue.
Anyway, wherever it was, I know it was Wisconsin. I went up to the training camp, and they, hot summer, watching these guys work. He was accessible, he was super nice. And I remember him like taking me, with all the guys at one point. I'm playing Dick. It's a good script, a good project. I didn't really know his work. I knew him as a coach, but I didn't know him that well. So it was a really great learning experience to kind of get to tap into the guy. And all of a sudden, as we were standing there with him coaching the guys, they're all taking a knee. He's doing his coach deal. He says, and now Greg would like to say a few words. And I was like, I remember it was like one of the great, just sweat pouring down my face going, football is important for a number of reasons.
Because the movie's Invincible, so this is 1996.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
a couple of decades ago.
Yeah.
Yes, McLovin, what?
Oh, it's River Falls, just so we're clear.
Oh, River Falls, Wisconsin?
Oh, yeah. By the way, lifelong Dick Vermeil fan. I cried every time he cried, and you did a great job. I just want to say, I was at Westchester training camp as a kid, watching the Eagles like you did in the movie.
Yeah.
And you nailed it.
Listen, I was so taken with, there's people who are cynical. We're always kind of cynical about his emotion and thinking, this guy can't control it, or that there's some sort of artifice to it. I watched tape on him, and it's all over YouTube. You can go research it yourself. He honestly had just such a heart. He really did, was just such a passionate guy, and it just really came out. So it was great fun to play him, because I felt like he was different. He really was different.
Let me give the full introduction. House of Cards, and Greg Kinnear and Diane Lane are 2 new cast members here. So the 6th and final season of House of Cards on Netflix premieres November 2nd. I'm curious of when you walk on, have you ever been coming into something that's already established and firmly established as House of Cards, and then kind of figuring out what's the water level or what's the temperature of, do I got to get up to a certain level or am I... So it's an odd feeling with what happened with Kevin Spacey. So how do you sort of find your way, navigate?
Well, I haven't really, to answer your question, no, I hadn't had that experience before. I mean, I did an episode of, Modern Family. I did a thing with Ross, who we just saw, stealing things on Friends years ago. So I had come into, but just for a, bit or whatever. This was obviously an extremely well-established show and kind of an iconic show. People have very strong opinions about it. So it was a little, off-putting coming into it. And obviously, given our speed bump that we hit right out of the gate, Diane and I, our brother and sister, Bill and Annette Shepard, there to basically wreak havoc against Claire, who's now the president. Claire. Yeah. And so we were up there we were in Baltimore, and just for like a day or two, and kind of getting started, and I was actually shooting a movie in Memphis, and I finished the work, went back to Memphis, and I got a text from Diane saying, "Are we doing this show? Is this gonna happen?" I was like, am I already fired? I didn't know what the hell she was talking about. And then the, Google sphere blew up, and the text started coming in, and the whole thing with him, happened. They had to shut down for, quite a while, obviously. Netflix took care of the crew, which I thought was remarkable.
How many episodes had you shot?
We had just started on the first one, just a couple of days. Yeah, no, it was odd. And then going back to it, you would think, listen, there's the elephant in the room, right? How awkward is this going to be? I'm the new guy, plus you have this thing that's happened. But I have to say, I genuinely feel like the crew, and much credit I've said to Robin, who, there was an easy out for her. Your co-star, this happens. It's like, I think maybe this was the, destiny. We should all walk away from this. Kept that train on the tracks. Everybody was there. They were enthusiastic. They weren't afraid to talk about their own experiences over the years, but everybody knew what the job was. It's a big show, and it does feel a little strange watching this thing that I had seen for many years. I'm suddenly in the White House with the characters that I've known all these years, but it was really cool. It was great fun. They write devious characters.
Do you like being a bad guy?
I did in this. It was great. They had a good guy here.
Because you don't have a bad guy look.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a nice guy. You're from the Midwest. I mean, we're nice, corn-fed, good looks. That's us.
That's true. We're nice fellas. Nice fellas.
Yeah, that's what we are.
I had to double down on the acting.
You did?
Yes, I had to double it up. No, I mean, honestly, I don't get that role that often. So it was, yeah. I mean,
would you like to play like a killer, like a total, just badass?
I never did do like a lot of action pictures. I've been I wish I had a gun in my hand at some point, for one of the,
You could do like Bruce Willis stuff, right?
You don't think it's too late?
No.
You can tell me.
Look at Liam Neeson.
That's true. That's true, actually.
I mean, he kills everybody.
Yeah, man. He wasn't always killing everybody either. It's just in the last... He's had like a resurgence in the last 5-7 years.
He's a snowplow driver taking revenge on people in his new movie.
Do you like those films?
No, I'm not a big, on snowplow genre movies.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the best ones I've seen. Fritzy does a Liam Neeson impersonation.
I will hunt you down, I will find you, and I will kill you.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Wow.
Okay, Paulie's got a question for you.
We each get one?
Well, McLevin had his, which wasn't really a question. I think he just was fawning all over Dick Vermeil.
Okay, there's a great movie you were in called Green Zone, Matt Damon. It's a war movie, Weapons of Mass Destruction. You play like a State Department guy who's really mean-spirited and a bad guy. How do you know you're nailing a bad guy role? Because I thought you were great in that role.
Thank you. I guess I have done this. I guess I'm out of the corn-fed nice guy thing, apparently.
Yeah.
Because I forgot about the Green Zone. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. You have to be. I remember Paul Greengrass, who directed that. He's a very funny guy, British, lovely guy, great director, and he just kept saying, "More Butch." butch it up, just kind of more, and
More
but
butch.
yeah, more butch. That was the term. But it was, it's always in the writing. It's always in the script. Anything. I never look for any particular kind of role. I always feel like the role finds you. You read something and you're like, wow, I never saw the world quite like that, or I never saw a character quite like that, and you dive in.
Well, it's, I understand that because obviously.
Tell me about your film work.
How many movies have I been in, Paulie?
Movies or films?
Oh, that's right.
Because we have both.
I don't know if I've been in a film.
It's been pretty close, but you've been in about, I'd say, 18 movies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a bit of cinema.
Okay, here is my question for you, Greg Kinnear. When I die, and then they have in memoriam at the Academy Awards, will I get my picture up there? You're going to when you die, but will I? I have 18.
Didn't you ask Will Ferrell to sing at your?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you asked
Yeah.
Will to sing at your. You're trying to get a whole. You're already stacking the deck for this thing.
I'm already planning my pallbearers.
What would happen? What's the question?
So would I be up there in memoriam?
Oh, if after 30 movies?
Well, let's say 25.
Yeah, I think you probably would. I think there's a
Now,
possibility.
they're all Sandler movies. That
That doesn't matter. Listen, I'm going to lobby for it. How about that?
okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to invite you to my funeral.
Listen, it's a weird thing. Thank you. Thanks, Dan.
Have you been invited to a funeral?
I've been invited to a lot, so this is
Okay.
this is good. I'll take anything I can get. I'll see you there.
Because I was going to have just Academy Award winners there, but I want you.
Yeah, no. Open the party up a little bit, for crying out loud.
Would you do
Such an elitist.
Would you do a one-off Talk Soup again?
I would, under the right circumstances, maybe something
Like this
that.
this current culture?
Yeah.
You bring your smarmy snark there and just kill it.
There is no shortage
Just
of good
kill
material
it.
out there. right?
Absolutely. Yes, Seaton.
Yeah.
I was just checking your IMDb, and I have, as an actor, I have 28 credits. Wow. 28 credits. You got it. Now, that's not all movies necessarily, but 28 credits as an actor.
I'm sort of the American Michael Caine.
My God.
Yeah, I know.
Because you don't seem this like you have this aura of such a filmography.
I become the role,
Yeah,
Greg.
yeah.
Like it finds me.
Right.
That's what the great ones say.
Wow.
But
You and Daniel Day-Lewis, man. I swear to God.
I did play Lincoln.
Okay.
I did. I played Lincoln in a Sandler movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that's
why I can't. That's why I couldn't quite put it together.
But I do think, and by the way, my given name is Daniel Day Patrick.
Yeah.
I do believe that Daniel Day Lewis retired from acting when he saw me play Lincoln. I think that was it. He said, there's nothing I can do with the craft here. Not anymore.
I quit.
Yes. Yes, Fritzy. Your question for Greg Kinnear. He's got to leave.
I know, real quick. Being the son of a U.S. diplomat and moving all around the world, Lebanon, Greece, etc. How did you tap into that, and how has that made you like who you are, especially as an actor?
Hard to say. It was a great gift. My father took us to faraway places through the American Embassy when I was a kid, and an incredible experience. I mean, I was consider myself very lucky to have done that. Gave me, great perspective on things. I don't know, in terms of how it's informed
You got
movies.
such a serious question. What was the question you said this morning you were going to ask
Oh,
him?
the Bad News Bears thing?
Yes.
Oh, what about it? Grape nuts?
No, well, weren't you like the manager of the Yankee team that went up against the Bad News Bears?
That's
in one
right.
Of the Bad News
It
Bears
was Ray Bullock.
Yeah, it was Ray Bullock.
Okay, you were going to ask him that question.
I was going to ask that, but then I was thinking about that maybe be more profound. to ask
Listen,
Greg
we were
about his
into a
diplomat.
serious conversation there,
I know.
Dan, if you
We
don't mind.
My bad. Okay. Fritzy,
What?
do you want to ask him?
Yeah, did you like?
He's got to leave.
All right, did you study any managers or coaches, or did you do anything baseball-wise preparing for that role as being the evil manager of the other side?
You can just say no.
I spent some time in Lebanon, which helped inform the character.
See, it all comes full circle.
Yeah, there you go.
I figured it was the Lebanon thing.
Yeah, Lebanon. You can see Greg Kinnear in House of Cards, the 6th and final season. It's Netflix premieres November 2nd. Thanks for stopping by.
Dan, thank you for having me.
appreciate it.
I look forward to your next film, and I'll be
And it's a
watching
movie.
closely.
It's a movie.
You go cinema.
Do you know that I, at the box office,
Yeah.
$2 billion. Yeah, I am box office gold. Sandler had a little bit to do with it, but the movies I've been in, $2 billion. I'm the Will Smith of sports announcers.
Listen, I gotta go.
You gotta get out of here. He's gotta get out of here. Thank you for stopping by, Greg.
Thanks.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.